Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Texas Pinball Festival. How's everybody doing? Great. Good to hear it. Hopefully you've got to play lots of games by now, and you've been to the game room, at least played enough, maybe not your fill, but at least enough at this point to have some fun. Well, we want to welcome you guys to this seminar, and let me introduce our presenter here. He is the founder and CEO of Stern Pinball Incorporated, the largest manufacturer of pinball machines in the world. The Chicago Sun-Times called him Chicago's Pinball Wizard, and he is the recent recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from the AAMA. So everybody, please give it up for Mr. Gary Stern.
Thank you very much, and I thank you all. We did get an award for my lifetime achievement, which is really for everybody at the company, and it's many years to do this. We got another award. The operators voted their favorite games, their best games of the year. And once again, Star Trek was voted #1 by the amusement machine operators in the United States. So Steve's game, again, #1. I usually start out, doing the same. I've talked to many of you before. First of all, many of our games are in bars, and I'm glad that people are out drinking and practicing for playing pinball later, because drinking goes with it, and they're all in the moms in here don't listen to me. They're all in the getting free booze over there, so we probably lose a few people to beer and vodka. You've all heard me before, many of you heard me before talk about whether we want to talk about, I should talk about our game design philosophy or history, and I end up talking about beer and barcades and what have you. But I can't do that now, because usually I do that with a vodka in my hand, and they don't let you bring vodka past a certain point here. So we're going to have to do this pretty much straight and decide what we're going to talk about. That's okay, Jonathan. That's okay. I had two warming up here to be sure that I'd be okay. This is sort of cool, though. This is like barstool height. I like this. But I thank Ed and all the staff here for having me again, and I do appreciate this show. We do appreciate the enthusiast buyer base that we have. And it's not just me that finds this show important and comes here. We have lots and lots of our, you can see that our people are interested. They're not just working a job. They're coming here because they're into pinball. This is more than it's a hobby for you, and it's a job for my fellow employees. But it's more than that. It's an avocation. In my case, I'm almost 70, so I'll be 70 in June. You could say, well, it's time to retire. I'm actually going to retire. I'm going to semi-retire after another 300,000 airplane miles, because I need to reach a certain limit. And 2 weeks? No, it'll be a little more than 2 weeks, but 2 years plus. Any event, I travel around to talk about pinball because I enjoy pinball and I enjoy what we do. I'm a lousy player, so I like to play, and then everybody says you're lousy, so don't play in public. We have a number of our people here, and they're here because they really love what they're doing. They love pinball. They love the game. They love the whole thing. Steve, of course, is here with his wife Diana. His brother Mark's here. Mark Galvez is supposed to be here somewhere, floating around. I don't know if he's here yet. John Trudeau, the game designer, is here. Of course, Greg Ferris is here with his Wonelli. I think he's here for Stern and not for Wonelli. But wait a minute, Stern and Wonelli, they sort of go together now, which we'll talk a little bit about. His wife's here with him, and Dennis Nordman, I understand, is somewhere. He's floating around. I don't know. We'll see him sometime. I came from the game show, the commercial show, the AE, the Amusement Expo. Actually, they're going to change its name to the Amusement Expo International so they can draw more people from outside the country, maybe. But we have that as it's a combined show of the AAMA, which is the Manufacturing Distributors Association, and the AMOA, which used to be the Music Operators of America, but now it's the Amusement and Music Operators of America. And we've combined our shows, and it just took place with educational seminars at the beginning of the week, and then the show itself Wednesday and Thursday, and I left there. Those of you from Texas might know I went down to visit a dealer customer, Charlie at Joysticks. Last night I was drinking in his bar, and then I chatted with him today to learn more about his side of the business, and then came up here. Tomorrow, something like 4 in the morning, because I'm suicidal, I will leave to get on an airplane to San Jose, San Francisco area to attend meetings with WWE and other licensees and WrestleMania. It's some of you say, question, why do a title like this? Well, it is a worldwide and especially U.S. major event, major sport or acting, whatever you want to call it. It is fun, and there's just huge numbers of people that are into it, and a lot of kids are into it. One of the things we want to do is to grow our player base to the future. Again, almost 70 years old, I still have a great interest in, hi John, Trudeau's sitting over there, a great interest in seeing our business continue. To us it's a business, but it's more than a business. It's an avocation, it's a sport. It is a sport. I was describing it, I had to speak for the Italian government 2 weeks ago, and I was explaining that, we're more than a game, we're also a sport. We're a ball and bat game like tennis. We're a ball and bat game like baseball. Keep your eye on the ball. The ball is wild. As Harry Williams would say, we are, you don't change the size of the tennis court. You don't change the size, round pinball. People have tried making round pinball machines. Who was it? Midway made the round pinball machine? I think it was Midway made one. No, they made one that with the playfield turned, I think, round and turned. The cocktail, huh? Game Plan made one like that? That it turned? Okay. Well, there's another company that were nice people. They were, but they didn't make the right game. Having said that, when you change the rules too much, it is a sport. It's supposed to be played a certain way, and you know that it's a sport when the IFPA can rank 30,000 people in 30 countries, and people actually participate, and there's actually some money to be won and so forth. It's coming up and becoming more of it. And as I digress, what I want to do is tell you, some of the things that we're doing, and then take questions and see what I can tell you and what I can't tell you, because I can't tell you everything, or there wouldn't be any surprises later. I'll take a couple 8x10 glossies of that, please. As I said, I'm going to go to WrestleMania, but we have the wrestling game here in both the Pro and the limited edition version. We will make 3 new titles. Our plan is 3 new titles every year. The company is all about pinball. It's pinball, pinball, pinball. And so we'll make 3 new titles a year. Can I pose for that? 3 new titles a year, and we'll make them in different configurations. You've heard me before say, those of you who've listened to me and paid any attention, that we have 3 markets, 3 segments that we're selling to. We have operators, we have rec room buyers, a guy who's Hi, Dennis. Here's Dennis. Hi, you're a guy who's 45, 50 years old and played pinball when he was 20 and wants to have a pinball machine at home, tells mommy it's for the kids, just so he can have one. He'll play it once in a while. Maybe he'll play it a lot. Maybe he'll become an enthusiast and buy more than one. Probably, maybe not. But that is a real growth area for us. And then, of course, you guys, the enthusiasts, are very important. This side, that side. And so we need to service all three parts of the market. You know that we make a pro game, which often is purchased by the rec room buyer and the operator, and sometimes the enthusiast. We make a limited edition, which is for the collector. It's a higher-end game. It's a couple more bells and whistles, more toys, more things to play with, and better artwork. Sometimes we will make a premium. Not always. Sometimes we'll make a premium, as we've shown that we will sometimes make it, and sometimes won't. We'll see what the market is like as to whether that makes sense to do. So we're making what we call our cornerstone games, our main titles, 3 new titles a year. We also occasionally come out with an old game. We've done that now many times. Once we did it once with Iron Man. We'll probably do that sometime in the future. We don't have a plan yet or a date or anything like that. But there's some games that have been very well received that have ended, and we're not able to make them anymore. We can't make any more AC/DCs. Its title, its license is over. Again, another great Steve game. Steve, AC/DC, great game. So we can't make that one. We are making Mustang, making or have, and will make more Mustang Premium, Boss Premium, Mustang Pro. Boy, it's a laundry list. It'll take me a minute. We have Walking Dead Pro and Premium. We have, what's next? Come on, help me. WrestleMania Pro Limited Edition. No premium yet. We'll see. We're going to make more Metallica Pro, and of course Star Trek Pro and Premium. So that's pretty full. That's a lot of games. And then, we made a Vault game. We also we'll make another one sometime. Don't know when. Don't know which. Now comes another classification, and that is studio. A studio game. A game designed and brought to us by somebody else, and that we then maybe do a little redesign to. In the case, the one that you all know, of course, is Whoa Nelly Big Juicy Melons, the fruit game, and we. It was quietly done. Thank you. And so we put our electronics in it, but it's the game and the art that Dennis and Greg designed. I think it's extremely true to it. You'll see the samples here have some of the colors reversed on the wood. The gray wood is supposed to be the brown wood, and the brown wood is supposed to be the gray wood. And in production, we'll have it just like the original game. It comes delivered with the crate that it can sit on, and with our beer cans, you can use your own. You just have to drink the beer yourself. And it also comes with the legs, and it comes with a coin door. I'm going to be very interesting to see how this game operates. We showed it also, operates for operators. We showed it also at the amusement machine show, the AE show, the Amusement Expo, and the operators are quite taken with it. First of all, they understand old pinball. It's fun. It is fun to play, and if you haven't played it yet, you got to go out and play this thing. It is fun. The guys were able to add some stuff to it that wasn't in the original ones that Dennis and Greg made. And if you come listen to them tomorrow, and they'll tell you all about the game and everything that it does. But I really think this is, the commercial guys' reaction to it has been excellent. So I mean, it's fun. It's something different. It's an attraction piece in a location. I, of course, think a lot about the commercial business. and it's a commercial business. We got to keep coming back to that commercial business. I do this all the time, but it's really important. There's a place for this game in commercial, in rec room buyer, and an enthusiast business. So, I'm excited about that. I may not sound excited now because I've been traveling so much. I'm tired. I really am. First of all, the game's fun. I can play it. I know what to do. So, for a casual player, it's a lot of fun. I say the commercial buyer, and I'm going to say this over and over and over again. You guys are hobbyists, you're collectors, you're enthusiasts, and you want your hobby to continue. We are the major manufacturer, the largest manufacturer of pinball machines, 3 new titles every year. And we need that to continue. Okay, I'm almost 70. Not a big deal for me, maybe, but it is. I want this to continue. I want all the people who've spent their life making these games that are a little bit younger than me to continue to do this and to bring new people into making these games. Because, going back to my second father, Harry Williams, the ball is wild. These things are just fun. My father used to say that a game is like a movie, and I'm undoing this. I'm leaning forward into it, so we're just going to make it go away. How's that better? So a game is like a movie, and it's got to have theme, action, a climax, a good photography, artwork, good sound effects, good promotion, good distribution. Everything that a movie has to have, except that this is not, and I'm going to date myself, this is not China Syndrome, which was about nuclear plants burning to the center of the earth. We're not telling any great story. We're providing fun. Capital F, capital U, capital N. Only fun. That's all we're out here to do, is have fun for us, have fun for you. If we don't make multiple models a year, there won't be games in the future. If we don't get operators to use games, there won't be games in the future. I talked about that rec room buyer, the guy who is 45, 50 years old, wants to buy the game he played when he was 20 and bring it home. If we don't have pinball on the street, he is going to buy the game he played when he was 20, and it's going to look like this. Okay, this is, he's going to buy these instead of pinball. We have to have games that make money. It's capital. These are capital goods that are entertainment. There's a reason they're not just for homeowners. There's a reason there's a coin door on them. They're games to be on the street. You guys, I digress, but I'm going to do this again at the end. I do this over and over. You all would do us all well in the future of this business well if you had your leagues and tournaments and what have you in some bars. Now we have barcades where you can actually do this easily because they've got lots of games in them. And this is a trend growing everywhere. In my neighborhood, there's there's 6, I believe, 2 emporiums, 2 headquarters, a Logan Hardware, and a Replay. There's 6 of them within a mile or 2, maybe 2 miles of my apartment. The young people are getting into these. We have to, the 25 and 30-year-olds, we have to have these games out there. So, again, we have rec room buyers. We won't have them. The rec room buyer in 20 years won't be buying pinball if we don't have it out there today. So you need to support games in the street. You guys are collectors, enthusiasts, and if we don't have games being made in quantity like we're doing, 3 models a year, plus maybe a studio model like Wonelli, and maybe a vault game. If we don't have that, then you guys won't be having 50 and 100 games. Let's go play them. You'll have 1 or 2 games in the corner. There won't be any parts, and you'll say, "Don't touch that. It's an antique." Nobody is collecting horse and buggies. They're collecting Mustangs, or they're collecting 356 bathtub Porsches, or old Ferraris, or 57 Chevys, or whatever it might be, because cars are current. And if pinball doesn't stay current, your hobby will go away. Your few games that work will become very valuable, maybe, maybe not. Probably not, and I'll tell you why probably not. If you look at car collections, I digress, but if you look at car collections, the used to be Model T Fords and stuff like that were desirable. But they're not anymore, because the guys who are into those cars are dead. They got too old, they're dead, or they can't drive, or what have you. They're even older than me. But the cars that have value are 70s and 80s and what have you. You look at your hobby, and the games that are most desirable, I'm told, are 80s, 90s solid state games, and not 50s wood legs. Because the people who were into those games, have died. However, now I'm going to come back and say those games had good basic gameplay, which is why I think that I can put a Wonelli on the street and make money with it. I think that game will earn money because it's different, it's an attraction. It also has a unique set of artwork and a unique cabinet and what have you. So we're making our Cornerstone 3 models a year. We're making, and we have a number of those, and we continue to make any one of those titles for 2 or 3 years. We are making a studio game, we are making vault game, and we're doing one other thing as far as our manufacturing. We are manufacturers, and so we make pinball machines. We're really good pinball manufacturers. We know what we're doing. Don't ask us to make an automobile or something else like that. We make pinballs. We are making private labels. So you all know that we are making the Medieval Madness remake. We didn't do the engineering on it. The engineering was either done by Willie a long time ago, or by Chicago Gaming. But, people who worked on that game when it was at Williams work in our engineering department making the games we make now. George Gomez designed the castle, made it work when it wasn't going to work. He had one night to do it. And Larry DeMar said, if that thing doesn't work tomorrow, I'm putting a nail in it. And so George got it to work. So, there was any problems with the game, on the re-engineering or remaking of it, we had the people who knew what to do. That's a nice business for all of us, because it brings a tried and true product back. It's something you guys want. It's not for operators because of the cost of it to remake something like that, and I can understand why it costs that much to do it and to re-engineer it and whatever with the currently available parts. We are making, our Cornerstone, our regular games. We are making Vault Edition. We are making studio games, and we are making private label games. We also, everything pinball, we are making accessories, for The Walking Dead, which is a great title. We make a topper. We make a special set of legs and armors. We make art wings and a ball shooter knob, and we also have the prison tower for it. We'll have things available soon, or now, almost now, for wrestling. We'll have stuff for all of our different games as we go along. So we make accessories, and we think that's an important part of our business, because some people, they want to trick stuff out, and we'd like to have things that are available to put on games that are licensor approved. These licensors have rights. You can't just, you might note if you followed what's gone in our business, you can't just go decide to take somebody's intellectual property, easy for me to say, and use it in your own product. You have to be careful with it. Well, by being a licensee and paying additional for rights, we can make accessories that include the title's intellectual property, and we plan that to be a continuing part of our business. And you can buy at our store online. We don't sell pinball machines direct, but we do sell accessories direct. You can also buy from Marco, and we'll be expanding the availability of our various accessories. The other thing that we have is we make what's called swag. Now, in accounting, swag means scientific wild-ass guess. My undergraduate degree is in accounting. I'm an accountant. It's a language of business. But in rock and roll, swag means shit we all get. So we make, it does, it was shocking to me because I'm an accountant. So we make, T-shirts and hats and cups and stuff like that. I should have turned that off. It's an 800 number. So we'll just turn that off. Sorry about that. I hope they leave a message, whoever that might be. So we have a full gamut of what we're doing, of what we're going to make. Everything pinball, everything to keep pinball alive, everything to create what it can be. In order to do that, you all probably know that we're going to move. And we're going to move to a very large facility, larger than we really might have wanted, but it's economical, about 10, 15 minutes from our current factory. It's a 100,000 square foot building. Our building is 40,000, but that's misleading. We have storage. We can't fit all the stuff in our building, so we have storage in warehouses. We won't have storage in warehouses, so it's more space, but it's not quite as much as one thinks. We were looking for a little bit less than that, but we were also looking for 200 parking places, because you think about making 40 and 50 pinball machines a day, and let's say 2.5, three workers per game, plus the overhead staff and all that, you can eat up 200 cars pretty quickly. So we need a lot of parking. That's hard. Most of the buildings are warehouse buildings, and they're not really set up for large numbers of people in them. We are very proud to be American manufacturers, and we have never considered taking our commercial pinball business, and we make commercial games, even though you guys buy them for the home. We never thought about taking that to China or to Mexico or anywhere else. Chicago is the pinball capital of the world. I've learned how to spell it, capital that is. When we made our first couple games as Data East, so that everybody would know that we were a American manufacturer, not something coming from Japan. We had on the bottom arch a map of the U.S. with a flag coming out of Chicago at the bottom of Lake Michigan, with a big DE for Date East, indicating that we're making the games in Chicago, and it said Chicago, Illinois, pinball capital of the world. And like any Japanese company, we misspelled capital, and so for 2.5 years, until somebody pointed that out. But in any event, Chicago is the home. We're very proud to be Chicago manufacturers. We're going to move to a bigger facility in Chicago area, Chicago land, and we will make that move. We will start moving things soon. We'll move one assembly. We have 2 assembly lines. One will move first, then the other will move. We will unplug everybody at work on Friday, April 17th. I think I have that date right. Everybody look at their new game machines, that we don't have pinballs on the street. You can see your calendar. April 17th, and on Monday we'll be plugged back in. Everybody will go to work. Some of us will work standing because we won't have desks or chairs yet. The factory will be started probably within a week to be manufacturing again. And so we'll be off and building again, as we have to do. Again, it's a manufacturing business. It's not you guys love the games. We love the games. We have to manufacture games, because if we don't, then we can't design the next game. We have to make the current game, make some money with it, so we have money to do the next game and the next game after, and so that we continue all of this. I said before, I say again, we need games on the street. Yes, I got a Lifetime Achievement Award from the AAMA, AMOA. Actually, I don't know who gave it to me. Somebody did. But the associations. And I was surprised to get it. But I said, I looked out there, and I said to the people that that were standing there to watch me get this award, and to watch some other things happen, ribbon cutting and all that. Wasn't all about me. And I said at the time that these were operators and distributors, and we sell a lot of games to rec room buyers. We sell a lot of games to enthusiasts, but we really need you guys, operators and distributors. We need games on the street, and we need these games making money for you guys so that the other two segments of our business, the rec room buyers, the enthusiasts, will continue to have games available. Because if the operators stop buying games and stop operating them, our business won't be viable, and you won't have a hobby anymore. So again, go to the barcades, have some of your tournaments there, consider what you can do to help perpetuate your hobby by perpetuating the business people that are in it. What I'd like to do is take some questions, see what I can help you with and tell you about, and please go ahead. You and I talk all the time anyways. This is sort of silly, but okay.
This will be an easy one. You're talking about the different models that you make, the different ranges, the Pro, the Premium, the LEs, the Vault editions, the Studio editions. We didn't mention anything about the Pin, the Home edition.
Okay.
Tell us something
sorry,
about, is that still a current project?
Yeah, it's a definite current project, and we definitely believe in that. Again, rec room buyer game, non-coin op. The Pin that we made was a lot of fun, but it wasn't quite right yet. It wasn't serviceable enough yet. It didn't look quite enough like a pinball machine, which I'm not surprised. And so we are revamping it. Probably in the fall, we will show it again. At the maybe at the billiard dealer show. We definitely believe in this. It's not, it's obviously it's a less expensive game, so it doesn't have a lot of contribution, but it's really important. It's really important to develop. Enthusiasts are important to us. Everybody else who wants to be in the pinball, be a pinball manufacturer, wants to sell games to the enthusiast. Okay. There's much more in this world. We need to cover everybody who's interested in pinball. We believe in street pinball, or FEC pinball, or barcade pinball. I love the barcades. I go there myself. And I know the owners are the ones in my area, so, they buy me a drink once in a while, which is a good reason for me to go. Thank you. But if we can make the games attractive to the operator, we will increase our business. If we can make the games, the right game, attractive and to the rec room buyer, we will increase our business and increase pinball's exposure. 2 points about it. One is elasticity of demand. The higher the price, the less the demand. The lower the price, the more the demand, if the product's right. We have to get the product right. Yeah, we're spending a lot of money. We are engineering. We will come out with a new version of the Pin. The other thing about it is channels. We sell, we export half of our games still. We sell, in some countries, it's almost all operators. You look at Italy, even though Daniela was twice the world champion, it's less an enthusiast and a collector market or a rec room buyer market. It is an operator market, probably 95, 98% operator use of pinball machines. And a big market for us. If you look at Northern Europe, many of you heard me say before, there's not many rec room buyers that's growing, a lot of enthusiasts, and they have a lot of gambling street machines that compete with us. So they're probably a larger percentage of enthusiasts or non-commercial. But we need all of it. So when you talk about the Pin, We have dealers to sell to rec room buyers. We have commercial distributors to sell to operators. The pin has been sold through Olhausen, a major retailer, or a billiard table company that sells to billiard stores. We need to retail it in a different channel than our other pinballs. So the two challenges are to get the product right at the right price and to get the channel right for distribution of it. Yes, ma'am.
Is your company the only one making pinball machines at this moment?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think that there are other companies that try to make pinball machines, that make some pinball machines. There's some fine people working with them. I'm going to say we're probably the company that makes the most games on a regular basis, and we're the company that makes all varieties or all levels of the games, pro, sometimes premium, limited edition, where our other companies, the other companies are going to concentrate on the higher end game. At least that's the history so far. Having said that, if we talk about competition, our competition isn't just pinball machines. Our competition is other coin-operated devices on the commercial side. It's entertainments in general. It's games here. And by the way, we're very interested in pinball apps, and we have some on Farside right now, but we're very interested in what that can mean to us, to pinball. If we could come out with WrestleMania pinball and a WrestleMania app at the same time with a location finder. Oh, I haven't talked about something I have to talk about. That would be fantastic. Now, what I haven't talked about is Spike, which is the new electronic system that is in WrestleMania and also in Wonelli. This is, we'll have to open this up or take a back glass off of one game and tape over the lights. It is a small CPU soundboard, a bus system instead of the matrix system. Pinball machine logic systems have been the same since the 70s when Williams started and Bally started and Old Stern started with a Bally system and New Stern or Data East started with a Williams system. They've been matrix system. This is the first real change in pinball that I'm aware of in 40 years. Bus system has, it's scalable. It'll allow us to do more with it than we've done as we continue to develop it. Again, small CPU soundboard, LEDs to light the back glass instead of a fluorescent tube, no tube to burn out, all LED lights, very reduced cable, and you'll see your computer cable running through the game, plus some power distribution. 3 or 4 node boards or semi-smart boards in it. Some of those, all but one at least, same game to game. So it's just it's a modern system. It's scalable. It will allow us to do a lot more with it. We've tested this game. Martin mentioned the pin. It was built with a scaled down version of Spike. We scaled it up. It's a scalable system we then made some transformers and tested them, the game transformers. There's no transformer in this game. It's a switching power supply, but we made some transformer games with it. We made some AC/DC premiums because it's a very loaded game, and shipped them all over the world, and tested them in different places, much as we did with the SAM system when we started it. We've made some The Walking Dead with it. We have sold none of these. These are just test games. So we've vetted this system extensively and know what we have. We're still making improvements, and we'll continue to make improvements to it. But this is a very good. It's got more protection than we've ever had for. It's got equivalent to automotive protection for coils and what have you. It is, as I say, scalable. This many things we'll be able to do with it in the future, in the cloud, and the downloading code, and things like that. There's all kinds of ideas we have to do with it. So that is a great advancement that we've had. And some of you have heard me talk about a bus system before. Well, we finally are doing it. Yes?
Two questions. First, to follow up on what you were just talking about. Are future Vault games likely to be manufactured with Spike?
If the game was made with Sam or White Star, it'll be made with Sam or White Star.
And my second question, with regard to the contract manufacturing, you mentioned both studio and private label games. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between those two models and what you're doing to bring in other pinball designers to manufacture their games?
Okay, first of all, contract with the studio game and the Woe Nelly is not a contract manufacturing. We are not making it for Whiz-Bang. We're making it, if you would, with Whiz-Bang. They've licensed us to make and market the game. So it is their game, their design. They brought us a completely designed game with their technology, but a completely arted and designed game, and we just added our technology under the hood, plus some additions, some rules, what have you, some music that our technology allowed us to do, which Dennis and Greg couldn't by hand add to the game in using the available step-up units, relays, whatever it is that they were using. Our electronic system lets us do a lot more sound, a lot more so forth. We have entertained if somebody had a complete game that we liked. I mean, obviously this game was vetted. They've showed this game to Dennis and Greg have showed this game to the community. They've sold some to the community for for serious money because they were handmade, serious games. And obviously there was an interest in it. There are a lot of people designing games. We're not interested in making everybody's games. Will we have other designers that we will accept submissions from? If somebody has a completely designed working game that has a following, we might be interested in it, and we might not. Not so sure one way or the other. We're interested in having other studio games. As to any particular game and designer, I can't speak to it. Contract manufacturing or private label, this was a completely designed game that Planetary and Chicago Gaming did, and we talked to them. They talked to us about being the manufacturer. I mean, we have the biggest and best pinball assembly line in the world. One of the only pinball assembly lines, plural, lines in the world. Our people know how to make pinball. Pinballs are made in the Chicagoland area. We know what we're doing. We have the people who know what they're doing. And we don't know how to make cars. The Ford Taurus is made not far from our factory. You've heard me say that before. I actually, when we were doing Mustang, I told one of the Ford executives, we tell everybody that we have more man hours than in the Ford Taurus, because I had read we had like 25 and they had like 24 at the time. Man hours, and he said we have 5 because it's all robots now. They have 5 hours. But any event, we make pinball machines. We know how to make pinball machines. We're very happy to do the assembly, and that's what we are, the assemblers. The parts for MMR are provided by Chicago Gaming. The engineering was by Chicago Gaming and so forth. So it's their game, and we're the assembler. Yes, sir.
Two questions. The first is, in
Does he get to ask two, and everybody else? No, go ahead. I'm just
do
kidding.
the easy one first.
Oh, good, thank you.
It's a real short one. Have you thought about going back to a more aggressive type of design, like the Woe Nelly, where there's a lot of innuendo and the play field is, you know what I'm saying?
I think you're talking about Dennis and Greg's humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like humor in games. Some of it gets lost outside the U.S., you know that, because they don't speak English. So a lot of the speech gets lost, things like that. yeah, we have, you know, you have to balance, it's a balancing act. We made Playboy a couple times with great success most of the time. The last one was the best Playboy machine with the centerfold and all that. But America changed. We did great in the export market. America changed. Nobody was buying Playboy to put it in their house. You know, that rec room buyers telling mommy is for the kids. That didn't work. I knew that it wasn't going to work so well in America when there was an operator in Paso Lobos between San Francisco and San Jose, Gary Spencer. And his girlfriend would come to the show and do nothing but play pinball. She would not play Playboy. For the operator to buy a game, you know, the homeowner, he's not going to put it in the basement. The operator to buy a game, he's not going to, he wants to be able to operate in a broad category of locations. Now, having said that, you know, Wonelli doesn't really cause that problem. It doesn't fit in that. That'll go anywhere. They're not kidding anybody. There's some women who don't like the fact, they don't understand that it's about fruit. So, you know, we've had some pushback there. That's nice. Okay, you know, it is. It's old-time art. You know, it's old-time. It's what it's supposed to be. It's absolutely perfect. I might borrow one and take, you know, I often take a game home to learn it. I may have to take that game home for a while. You know, it's because I live alone. Nobody's going to get offended. There is a line to which you can cross. I can tell you that there are some people who, as great a game as it is, and as great a title it is, there are people who would not put The Walking Dead in their house. So,
fair enough.
You know, that's an issue.
Okay, thanks. The second one, kind of a...
That was all an answer to the first question, Mike.
Well, the second one's more interesting.
Okay.
So I had the privilege of being in Chicago at the plant a few weeks ago and talked to George and mentioned this to him, so I'll regurgitate it. So there are those of us that might like, well, we've talked to the various designers and they've said we've had 10 toys, say, but we had to triage the toys and cut down to 3 or 4. For example, AC/DC. There might have been some left out, just cost. You can't price a game so high, and space. So my question is, there are those of us that might not care about how much it costs. We want the designer's cut, the super premium game,
okay,
if you will.
It's economics. I understand what you're saying.
Right. If there's like anything. Look at the Corvette has a base model next up, and
we do that, but that's what we do.
But
we have
a level above the LE.
You want something above the LE.
Where
I'm going to question whether the economics will work. If we can't make money, I'm not saying no. I said I'm going to question. If we can't make money, and it's not just material, but it's the design costs and the tooling costs and everything. If we make 500 of an LE, okay, and then we turn around and we make 500, 200, 500, 1,000 of a premium sometime. Now, let's put another bunch of engineering, and let's raise the price of that LE to an LE Plus at $15,000. And if I sell 100 of them, I didn't pay. I lost money. It's a business. Here, I got 100 at an extra $7,000. Okay, you know, 700. So that sounds great. I don't think so. Maybe I have to push the numbers, but the two problems are: will the numbers work? Will you pay 15? Number one, doubt it. But will the numbers work? You know, can you be sure of it? And what else are you losing? Okay, so now I make these extra 100 games, but I lost the whole design team for another 3 months, so I lost a third of a game. So I lost 2,000, 3,000 games by doing, 1,000 games by doing that. I don't know. You know, does it work? You know, it's a pinball machine. We use the same, just as, you know, you use the same chassis for the premium and the LE and the Pro. there's only so far you can take this. I don't know. I won't say I wouldn't think about that, and obviously George thought about it and listened to you. There's limitations of what we can do. Sometimes it's, there should be a one-off maker who makes a few games of something, which is what Wonelli started out to be. It just was so cool that it needed more than 4 games made. It needs hundreds of games made. It's just that cool. It's just, if you haven't played it, it really is fun.
One more question.
We got 2 questions because this lady's...
Go ahead.
We have given tours, and we as we move, I don't know what the situation will be because we have to get settled, so forth. In the plant we're currently in, until the 14th, we give tours. We'll see what happens to the future, and after we make the move. This is a big endeavor to move a pinball factory. The last time we moved a block, half a block away, so we just rolled everything down the street, and it was a lot smaller business.
As we've seen with jukeboxes and Coke machines very recently, is there any R&D on your end going into near field or credit card acceptance on games?
We shouldn't call these coin machines because they ain't coin machines anymore. First of all, there's a major problem that's going to happen for all games, and that is that Congress wants to cut the costs of coinage. Coinage is very expensive, so they're talking about changing the metal content. And the game companies the vending companies, the bus companies, whoever it is, all express concern, because if there's too much lead in a quarter, it ain't going anywhere. It's going to sit in a magnet or something like that in a coin thing. Well, they came out with they could save, it was $1 million or whatever, $1 billion, whatever. They said, well, no, we want 5. So, we may have a trouble with coinage to start with. There is no question that, whether it be iPay or if you look at a modern jukebox today, you can pay with cash, you can pay with a credit card, you can pay with their own phone system, their own stuff. Yes, it's going to happen. We're talking about it. We're looking at it. I can tell you, the biggest distributor in America is Betson, and they're very much looking at this. It's happening. Now the question is how much work we have to do versus how much work the people who will replace the coin mech manufacturers or the coin mech manufacturers themselves have to do. The people who make coin mechs better figure out something because they're making buggy whips. So it's going to go, coinage money's. My daughter walks around and, she's 27 years old. She comes to Chicago. I said, here, at least put $20 in your pocket. What do I need that for? What am I going to do with that? You can't pay Uber with cash. It's cash is, cash was king. Now cash is plastic is king or what have you. Okay. So yes, we're thinking about it. We're not, real involved in it. We are involved. I tire you guys out. I'm sorry. I'm not my usual energetic self. I'm a little tired from traveling, but I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your time. I especially appreciate your interest in pinball and your playing our games. I leave you again. I'm going to say the same thing I say over and over, and this will be my 3rd or 4th time to say it. Put seats in the stools. You gotta go to places that have games, play them there. If we don't make the economics work in the street, in the barcade, in the FEC, if the economics don't work, you won't have games in 10, 20 years. No other company. We're going to make 3 new models a year. We're going to make some vaults. We're going to make some contract manufacturing. We're going to make some, the private label contract manufacturing. We're going to make some studio games. If we don't do that, and you depend on your hobby existing for somebody who promises you a game or who makes a game, a new model once every, I don't know how, whatever, Those are all interesting parts of our business and of our hobby, as long as there's somebody making games every day in quantity to keep this thing going. And if we don't, then you're going to have real collectibles, real collectibles. Thank you very much.
We know some of you still have questions. Gary has agreed to come over to the side while we set up for the next seminar, and he's going to answer some more questions personally. If you want to talk to him, he will talk to you. So thank you again, Mr. Stern, and congratulations on your award, and thank you for coming to Texas again.
Thank you for having me, and thank you all for listening.